Hello there, I'm Tom, I'm the tech chap, and this is being recorded on the Insta360 Go Ultra. I take this thing everywhere with me. Let me show you what it can do. Cue the montage, because over the last few weeks I've taken it to Tuscany on holiday with my wife, Mrs. Tech Chap. I've taken it swimming, I've taken it for a drive, I've cycled over the rolling hills. It's been a tough gig testing this camera, I'll tell you. But also along with my buddy James, his dog Neo, and a few other friends and family, between us we have done a lot with the Go Ultra. And I've got to say, I am blown away by how good this looks. Because we have the much bigger sensor, which actually lets in 200% more light than the previous version, shooting at 4K up to 60 frames per second, with their new pure video mode for low light, with active HDR, which can give you a better, more even exposure, particularly with like bright highlights from the sun. And if you are taking this on holiday with you or somewhere with lots of bright sunshine, then you can even unscrew the regular lens cover that's on by default and switch it out for an ND filter. The point is, all this built into this tiny camera. Okay, I've left Mrs. Tech Chap at the pool for a couple of minutes so we can talk about this. This is the camera. It is about twice as big as the previous generation. We had the Go 3 and the Go 3S, which added 4K, but it is a significant upgrade. Not least the fact that we have a much bigger sensor. We can now shoot in 4K 60. We've got pure video mode. And for me, one of the big upgrades is the actual camera also now has a micro SD card slot. I've got a 512 gig card in here. And you've also still got this very nifty pop-out screen at the back so you can frame yourself. This is genuinely like the most versatile camera you can buy. Whether you're shooting landscape, vertical, you're attaching it to any one of the what feels like millions of Insta360 accessories, although this is probably my favorite. Pop it in there, pop that on there with Insta360's quick release system, make sure they're both connected, and actually you can just take it off like that. Really, really nifty. And this has a telescopic extension. It has full tilt at the top here, and also a tripod built in, and it has a little controller, which is detachable. So you've got a Bluetooth remote, so you can place that wherever you like, along with a pendant and a couple of the sort of grippy, claspy accessories. I always bring this thing with me. But let's back up. In the box, you have the camera, you have the action pod, you've also got a USB-C cable, but you also get the magnet pendant, this easy clip, and also a lens guard, which I would definitely recommend using because unlike their new X5, you can't replace the lenses. But you can replace a lens guard. But that is just the start. Insta360 sent me a whole load of extra accessories. I'm not saying you go out and buy all of these, but based on how you want to use it, whether you're vlogging, doing POV, attaching it to a car or a bike, or anything really, the whole point of this is you can take this tiny camera and mount it basically anywhere, have a remote view from either the action pod or your phone via the app, and capture all your lovely photos and videos. And even without any of the accessories, because the Go Ultra has this magnetic mount system, you can actually pop it onto basically any metal surface. But this is also how you mount it to the pendant. You put the necklace over your head, obviously, maybe under your t-shirt, and then you can just pop the camera on. Now we do have a couple of LEDs that will flash red when recording, so people are aware that you're filming, but I do quite like that the Ultra comes in both black and white. The black camera with a black shirt or white camera with a white shirt will blend in really well. Now the camera itself, despite being larger than previous generations, still only weighs 53 grams. You'll barely notice it. And it's even waterproof down to 10 meters, that's 33 feet. I mean, here's a treat, you get to see me with my shirt off. Normally I'd charge for that. But while the camera is water resistant, the action pod is not because you have the exposed USB-C port. So make sure you take it out of the action pod before you go swimming. I also really appreciate this quick release safety cord that comes with the Go. So even if the magnet were to fail or someone bumps into you or you fall over, you've got to back up with that safety cord so it's not going to fly off and get damaged. But can we just take a second to actually appreciate how good this looks? Not just in terms of the image quality, but also the stabilization. All this is shot in the standard stabilization mode, and there's no warp stabilizer afterwards. I've not done anything to edit these videos except just export them from the Insta360 app. And it really is fantastic for these kind of hands-free POV shots with up to 156-degree field of view. Although most of the time I find myself shooting in D-warp, which corrects for a little bit more of the distortion. But I'm telling you, with that flow state stabilization, with the 360 horizon lock, where you can tilt it and turn it and it will stay perfectly straight on the horizon, and having that 4K 60 option, which as I say is double the frame rate from the previous Go 3S that topped out at 4K 30, which gives you much faster, much smoother footage, which is great for driving and cycling and skiing and what have you, but also you have the option of slowing it down afterwards to 30 to give you a nice slow motion, still at 4K. Although you do also have the dedicated slow motion mode, and I captured this where Mrs. Tech Chap threw the camera to me across the pool in 120 FPS at 2.7K resolution. So on the Action Pod, or even via the app on your phone, if you tap the little camera icon, it'll bring up all the different modes. We also have this new pure video mode, and this is the first time we've seen it on the Go series, and basically it's best for low light or shooting at night. And this mode, combined with the new bigger sensor, means I'm actually happy, confident to use this kind of camera in my studio while filming in cars in low light. In fact, let me show you the difference. This is with pure video versus this standard video mode on the Go Ultra, both being recorded in the mega field of view, so really, really wide FOV there. Hopefully that was a pretty immediate difference to you. I'm looking at the screen above it because obviously you've got this really cool flip out screen. So let's go back from standard to pure video. Yeah, that is a big difference. Let's try another one. This is standard video, 4K 30, and this is pure video. Normal video, pure video. Normal video, pure video. It is still very low light. Obviously it is still a pretty small camera, but it's much better with pure video. The only downside of pure video, the only limitation on the Go Ultra is that it tops out at 4K 30. You can't shoot 4K 60, so bear that in mind. Ooh, and while I have you, make sure you export any clips you take on the go via the mobile app or the desktop studio program, because that will give you much better quality. Most of the time, I'm just gonna fire up the app on my phone and look at the videos and download it and then export it that way. Highest bitrate, highest resolution possible, always the best. Although for the purpose of this video, I've put everything through the desktop studio app and exported it in ProRes, and that's basically everything that you're seeing. Then you've got free frame video, which is very difficult to say if you've got a Lisp. This takes you from a 16:9 to a 4:3 aspect ratio, much closer to a square. So if you're recording for both horizontal and vertical, YouTube and social, and then in the app afterwards, you can decide whether you want vertical or horizontal and export it. It does crop in, so you are losing some of the information in your clip, but it gives you more options afterwards. Then you've got time shift, which can create these really cool kind of hyperlapses. And this is where the camera's moving through the world, but then you've got time lapse, and this is where the camera stays still and the world moves around it, with some nice clouds going over. I've got a little sunset there, and you've got different scene options like flower opening, dawn and dusk, you've got city rush, really fun to have a play with. Loop recording, slow motion, star lapse, burst photo, interval photo, regular photo, and then you're back to video. Although going back to photo, by default it's a 12.5 megapixel photo in the pure shot format, although you can bump it up to a full 50 megapixels. And these are a couple of shots taken on the Go Ultra. The very first thing you should do though is connect your Go Ultra or any Insta360 to their app. You need to do this in order to actually set it up and also do firmware updates. And this is where all your clips will end up that you've captured on the camera. They'll remotely transfer over to the app, and this is all free, although you can pay a subscription for their cloud storage and some other services. I can open up one of my clips, and actually this is a free frame video. So at the top right here, I can change it from 9:16. I can go to 16:9, doing a little photo shoot with Mrs. Tech Chap there. What you can also do at the top is click Dolby Vision. That turns on the HDR for the clip, proper HDR actually. So I presume it's capturing that metadata as you're filming, because then it seems on any clip I take, regardless of whether I use active HDR or not, I can enable Dolby Vision in the edit here, which is quite nice. It really does make your clips a lot more punchy. It brings up the brightness in those highlights. So you can then go to the AI edit and you can add different filters and text on screen, different sort of presets. So you can edit, you can export, you can share your footage, but you can also remotely control the camera. This actually is running a beta version of the software right now, so this may change a little bit. And you can start recording, you can switch modes, basically everything you can do on the Action Pod screen, you can also do in your phone. Okay, a couple of things to mention as I've been using this. Battery life has also improved versus the previous generation, although there are a lot of variables. If you're going to shoot at 4K 60, obviously that's more demanding, so that will drain the battery faster. So it can vary. I did find after recording just with the camera, I maybe got about an hour with it, but as soon as I popped it back in here, it starts recharging, also offloads the footage to the micro SD, and that for me is one of the biggest upgrades here, because previously we only had a sort of, I think it was 32 gigs of built-in storage on the Go 3S. So now we can have up to, well, I've got a 512 in here, and I can physically take that out, I can swap it out, so I don't have to rely on taking everything off, clearing the storage. For me, that's like an equally big upgrade to the new sensor. I also appreciate when you start and stop recording, you've got LED lights, you've got an audible sound, although you can turn that off if you prefer to be a bit more subtle and don't want a big bleep every time you're, I don't know, capturing BTS at a wedding or something. But also it vibrates, and I did notice this when I mounted it to my biking helmet. It gave me a nice kind of feeling on my head, so I knew it was recording, which was very helpful. You can also pair the actual camera to your Apple Find My account, which I think is a very good idea because, you know, the point of this is that you can place this wherever you want in random places. It could fly off your car. Hopefully it doesn't do any of those things, and you do of course have that safety cord you can attach to, but just in case, you can track it down with Find My. You've also got voice and gesture control, so you can start, you know, filming with your hand or your voice, and also Bluetooth here for connecting to the remote like you have on this little accessory here for my camera focus, this guy, and also potentially Bluetooth microphones. Because while we do have this built-in mic here in the front of the camera, and it does a decent job, if you are going to use this for proper vlogging or putting this far away from you, then you will want to use a remote or separate mic system. Couple of areas for improvement. Well, it obviously is just a single lens. There's no proper zoom here, and although you can press this little button here to go to a 2x crop, it really is just cropping digitally in on the sensor. We don't have a screw thread on the bottom. Obviously you can get accessories that may add that, although mostly we're relying on Insta360's sort of instant mounting grip thing. But you can't just screw this into like a Gorilla Pod or a regular tripod. There's nothing at the bottom here, unlike some other action cameras. You can also turn off the LED indicator light and mute it as well. So let's see what happens if I actually start recording in that case. Ooh. Basically, I'm now recording, but no one would know. So obviously it's more subtle. I feel like it's always good to have some indication that you are filming. And also on my wish list would be the ability to record in log, any kind of flat image color profile, so I can then apply LUTs afterwards, giving you more creative options, generally a wider sort of dynamic range when it comes to color, but sadly not supported on the Go Ultra. But there's nothing else quite like this on the market. And just the sheer flexibility, the creativity you can get out of this tiny camera with genuinely impressive image quality, stabilization, and together with the action pod and an incredible range of accessories, this thing is coming everywhere with me. It's small, it's convenient, yet it's powerful enough to give you those really unique POV shots and just more creative angles. That's what a good camera should do. Oh, and good news, if you do fancy picking one up, if you use my link in the description below, when you buy a Go Ultra, you'll get a free 256 gig SD card. How much, you ask? Well, the US pricing will be $449.99 for the standard bundle. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.